So number 13 there, now they've messed the order all around and did all that fun stuff there. And so what I like to do when they don't have it in order, highest exponent down, is I like to start with the one with the highest exponent. So I'm going to put the 2w squared, and then I'm going to pick out which one of those three terms that I have left have the most in common with my 2w squared. The negative 12w would be a good choice. So I'm going to work with those two. Start with those as my first two. So out of those two, I can divide them both by 2 and a w. I'm going to divide them both by a 2w. So 2w squared divided by 2w would be
W minus 6.
okay, just a w, and negative 12w divided by 2w is minus 6. So 2w times w minus 6. So now when I'm looking at the other two terms, I know that I want to get w minus 6, which means that the term with the w in has to go first, right? So I'm going to have my plus wy and my minus 6y, and I'm going to say, okay, what do I need to divide out of my wy to get just the plain w?
Y.
The y, and it's going to be a positive y because I need my sign there. And so if I divide them both by positive y, I'm going to get the w here and the minus 6 there, right? So what we want to have happen is have, excuse me, the same thing in both sets of my parentheses, which I do. So w minus 6 is my common factor. Canceling those out. My other factor is going to be the 2w plus the y. And again, if you wanted to check that, you could FOIL it out. You should get those same four terms. So number 14, which two terms should we start with? Which two terms would be good ones to group together?
4u squared and plus 20u.
4u squared plus the 20u. I always like to start with the one with the highest exponent and put it with the one that has the most in common, but I better put my u behind there. So 4u squared and 20u, both are divisible by?
2 in u.
Bigger than 2? 4 in u, right? 4 would be my greatest common factor, so 4u. If I divide the 4u out of both of those, I get
U plus 5.
u plus 5. So again, on my other two terms, I know I want the one with the u first. So the minus uv with the minus 5v. I want to end up with a positive u, so what do I need to divide out of my negative uv? Not just the v, but also the negative v, because my sign's got to change, right? So negative divided by a negative gives me a positive u, and here a negative divided by a negative is going to give me that positive 5 that I want to get. So I get u plus 5 in both of them, which is what I want to have. So u plus 5 is my first factor, and my other factor would be
4u.
4u minus v. And one last one of those, factoring by grouping. Which two should we start with?
2u squared minus 14u.
2u squared minus 14u, and both of those are divisible by 2u. So if I divide 2u out of each of those, I'm going to get
U minus 7.
u minus 7. So again, on my other two terms, I want the one with the u first. So I have uy minus 7y. And if I want to get a u, I'm going to divide out
Y.
a y. And it's going to be a positive y because I don't want my signs to change. And so if I divide out the y, we get u minus 7. So my factors are going to be
U minus 7 and 2U minus 1.
U minus 7 times 2U plus y. And if you start out one way and you're not getting it to match up, just rearrange and put two different terms together. Sometimes there's more than one way that it works out. You just want to make sure when you start with your first two terms, they've got something in common, so you've got something to factor out of both of them. All right.